All right, so now just as a disclaimer, so this presentation is not intended to diagnose, cure, prevent, treat any kind of gut condition. It's more just to shine a light on if there's some challenges that you're having, and that can sort of shine a light. And if you need to go and get help, you can reach out to me, or you can go and seek out a dietitian at www.daa.asn.au. If you are, or you can go and see your doctor as well. So there's a couple of ways to reach out. By the way, speaking of me, I forgot to mention this last week, but I am offering for all of you ladies a 15-minute assessment call if you're having some challenges, whether it's with weight loss or feeling stuck, or maybe it's with gut, related to gut health. And again, the girls will post that link, and I'll make myself available to help you guys out. So let's talk a little bit about some of the gut challenges that I tend to see. So number one is irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, and the symptoms can include anything that has to do with sort of irritability of our gut, right? So cramping, abdominal pain, bloating, gas, fluctuating bowels is usually a characteristic of this. So one day it'll be loose, one day it's nowhere to be seen. So that's irritable bowel syndrome, and the management of that can be anywhere from gluten-free to a low FODMAP diet to kind of detect. There are some dietary triggers that can affect irritable bowel syndrome, especially if it's diet-caused. There are other different factors, by the way, that can cause irritable bowel syndrome, but the FODMAPs can be a trigger. I should just make a note of that, though. A low FODMAP diet, for those of you guys who are listening in, a low FODMAP diet was never intended as a long-term diet. It's meant more as a diagnostic tool. And for those people who might be on a low FODMAP diet long-term, it spells a real challenge for our gut bacteria, because all of the FODMAPs are basically prebiotic fiber. So they're there basically to feed our gut bacteria. My sister, actually, disclaimer, follows a low FODMAP diet, all FODMAPs, despite better advice from her dietitian sister, and her gut health is really shot. So anyway, so if you know of anyone who's following a low FODMAP diet long-term, just be really careful. It's not something that's meant to be. You really want to bring back some of those FODMAPs that you can tolerate well, and just minimize the ones that you don't. Looking at number two, candida overgrowth, what's also known as SIFO. So it's small intestinal fungal overgrowth. And the typical symptoms can look, some of these look a bit the same. That's why it's really important that you get some help if you suspect any of these. The basic can be thrush, it can be tiredness and fatigue, recurring genital or urinary tract infections, digestive issues, sinus infections, skin and nail fungal infections, and or joint pain. They're kind of the telltale signs of candida. And then we also can see small intestinal bowel overgrowth, or SIBO. And again, similar again, but we can often see that the real telltale sign is kind of pain after eating. And then, it's usually feeling like that feeling of fullness, and we can often see this with weight loss as well, or unintentional weight loss. So guys, that brings us to right on the hour, as I promised. The bottom line is that we really want to focus on fiber. We want to focus on getting some of that fiber as a prebiotic. And we also want to, if you think that a probiotic supplement is going to be a really good safety net for you, then it may be worthwhile choosing one. And a lot of the times I've spoken to a lot of people who have tried a probiotic before, and what I found is that most people, especially if they've taken a veggie capsule, you're not going to see any benefits or any noticeable health effects from taking one. So you might as well flush them down the toilet. So guys, I hope that's been really useful. I'd love you to post in the comments just before we finish up, what have you learned tonight? What's the one thing that you are going to start doing now, that you can implement today, or as soon as your supplements arrive, that you can start implementing now?